So you single out the state today. It's a state of consciousness. You enter it and clothe yourself with it and let it grow. When I exhausted every human channel to get out of the army, I turned to the only God in the world. And that God is my own wonderful human imagination. In 1942, in the month of December, this direction came down from Washington, D.C. Any man over 38 is eligible for discharge, providing his superior officer allows it. If his superior officer, meaning his battalion commander, disallows, there is no appeal beyond his battalion commander. You could not take it, say, to the divisional commander. It stops with the battalion commander. This came down in 1942 in the month of December. They gave a deadline on it. This would come to an end on March the 1st of 1943. So anyone 38 years old before March the 1st, 1943, was eligible. All right? That is Caesar's law. I got my paper, made it out. They had my record, my date. I was born in 1905 on the 19th of February. So I was 38 years old before the 1st of March of 1943. So I was eligible. Turned it in to my battalion commander, who was Colonel Theodore Bilko. His father was a senator from Mississippi. I turned it in. In 4 hours it came back. Disapproved. And signed the colonel's name. That night, I went to sleep in the assumption that I am sleeping in my apartment house in New York City. I didn't go through the door. I didn't go through the window. I put myself on the bed. I went right into my home that I knew so well. But I conditioned it. I could be there on furlough, a 2-week furlough. I didn't want that. I wanted to be there honorably discharged, not dishonorably, honorably discharged, and a civilian in this country. So I slept in that assumption. At 4:15 in the morning, here came before my inner eye a piece of paper, not unlike the one that I had signed that day. On the bottom of it was disapproved. Then came a hand from here down, holding a pen. And then the voice said to me, "That which I have done, I have done. Do nothing." It scratched out disapproved and wrote in big bold script, approved. And then I woke. I did nothing. 9 days later, that same colonel called me in to close the door, Goddard. Yes, sir. He said, "You still want to get into the army?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "You're the best dressed man in this country. Wears the uniform of America?" I said, "Yes, sir." "You still want to get into the army?" "Yes, sir." Yes, him to death as I sat before him. He said, "All right, make out another application and you'll be out of the army today." Went back to my captain, told him what the colonel had said, made out another application, and he signed it, and that day I was out of the army, honorably discharged. That's all that I did. I went right into my home as a discharged soldier of our army, and I'm a civilian. I slept that night in my home in New York City, though physically my body was in Camp Polk, Louisiana. That's how it works. There is a state. I entered the state and fertilized it. No one was hurt. And the colonel, when I went through the door that evening, he came forward and said, "Well, good luck, Goddard. I will see you in New York City after we have won this war." I said, "Yes, sir." And that was it. I share this with you to tell you how it works. This is not good and that is wrong. We're living in a world of infinite possibilities. You become discreet. You become selective. You know what you want. You hurt no one. But you must turn to God. And God is your own wonderful human imagination. Choose this day whom you will serve. And they answered, we choose the Lord. You are witnesses against yourself that you have chosen the Lord. We are witnesses against ourselves. For the Lord's only name is I am. But who was actually assuming that he was in his own apartment 2,000 miles away? I am. I am assuming I am, where physically I am not. But the reality of me is not this. The reality of the speaker is his imagination. And I must be where I am in imagination. So the body was in Camp Polk. The reality of me was in that apartment of mine in New York City.